Hello, everybody. It is I, yet again, Price McKinney. Simply put, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening as always. Let me just cut straight to the chase. This is going to be pretty straightforward, mostly about myself. It's one I just, out of all of the ones I've done, this is the one I've run from the most. I remember when I was in high school, me and my twin and one of my homeboys got chased by a Doberman. And somehow or another, I became aerodynamically inclined. Took off running, outran both of them, hurdled the back of my daddy's truck and then went on top of the truck on the roof because I was scared of the Doberman. That's how I've run from this particular topic. I've had to, and I'm not laughing because it's funny. This is just part of my coping mechanism because I've really struggled with dealing with this, and that is forgiveness. And I'm gonna say it for you. Ouch! I have had to this past week and a half. I've had to talk to who I call my coach multiple times because what had happened is I had a couple of episodes, if you will, whereby I did not know that I had some things on the inside of me towards some people that I'm no longer with, and there was some major flare-ups, and I had to face them and deal with them. What I did know, number one, was that what was there was still there. Number two, once I identified it and recognized it, I had to deal with it then. It wasn't okay, let me put this on the back burner, let me put this on the shelf, let me just lay it aside, pick it up later, sweep it under the rug. Wasn't any of that. I had to deal with it face on. And two different episodes, two different people, actually three different people. No, not even with them anymore. And one was I had anger, just foul hit me, and I had to ask myself, why are you angry? Why in the world did this actually make you mad the way that it did? And it was very simple, very simple. It's no coincidence. The title of my YouTube channel is simply put, it's because I have not forgiven them. Now, the question I had to ask myself, well, how do I forgive them? I looked up the definition and, to keep it simple, to give pardon to, not to hold somebody accountable for what they've done to offend you or upset you, in a real sense, to let it go. And the reason why I knew I had not done that was because of the emotional charge and trigger that happened when I thought about and when I saw what I saw. So I had to ask myself, how do you forgive? How do you even know when you've forgiven? Well, do you have a conversation with that person? I had to deal with this in this manner. And I had a conversation with my coach just 2 days ago, which is part of why it's taken me so long to do this, is because I had to deal with it first within myself before I could share it with you. And as I said to him, number one, I had to acknowledge that it was there. Number two, I had to sort through what it was that actually made me angry based on how that person offended me. Now, here's the reality of that. The individuals have literally gone on with their lives, void of me. I'm not a part of their lives anymore. Not connected to them, however you want to put it. We don't talk, we don't speak, none of that. Now, technically speaking, they're not in your hard feelings or whatever, but what was in me was still there. So why was that? Because I had not forgiven. So I had to sort through internally by myself what it was that made me still upset, what it was that I had not let go of within that individual or that particular event. I had to go through all of that. I had to have conversations with myself, and then I talked to who I call my coach. And as I expressed to him, the reason why I was upset as I was, as I've already said, is because I had not forgiven him. And the question became, and he asked me this, he said, well, do you need to have a conversation with him? And I said to him, every situation is different, but in my particular case, no, I do not. And the reason why is because they have already went on. If I even talked to them and shared with them what it was that I was upset about, what it was that bothered me, what it was that offended me, when what happened, it's not going to matter. It's because it's not going to change what they do or who they are. What I've got to change within me is how I respond going forward. Because when you don't forgive somebody, trust me, it is a hindrance, because here's what that starts looking like. Now, these are just examples. Some of them I've been through. At the mere mention of that person's name, you snap and blow a fuse. Oh, she's gone. Oh, he's done. At the mere mention of that person's name, that's one way you know you haven't forgiven. If you get in conversation about them, you start out okay, and you start reliving or remembering some of the things that you went through or dealt with that individual. And you start, as they say, you start to feel some type of way. You have not forgiven. Here's a buddy of mine told me today, and it messed me up because I shared with him something that I was dealing with just recently, as of yesterday, as a matter of fact. And he said, and I got to read this because I don't want to misquote it. He said, a temper is the only thing you can't get rid of by losing it. Let me repeat that. A temper is the only thing you cannot get rid of by losing it. That was one of the most powerful statements I've ever heard. So it hit me internally and made me face some realities within the temper that I currently had as I was talking to him even. So again, some of the ways that you have forgiven, if you in conversation about that particular person or that particular individual or an event or an episode that has happened, and you're still triggered emotionally, whether it be through depression, you get sad, you get angry, you get pissed off to the highest levels of pissivity, whatever the case may be, you have not forgiven. And so, in the real, well, how do I do that? What is it? When you get to the point where you can have a conversation, talk about it, deal with it, and you don't have those particular emotions, whatever the emotion may be, that's how you know you're forgiven. So in a real sense, you have to, and I'm not taking this lightly, or I'm not saying that you're not justified in what you feel or anything of the sort, but what I am saying, you got to deal with this. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to, and I've been guilty of this, you don't want to go into dealing with the next particular individual or the next person you may have an interest in, and they don't even know who the person is that you've had this issue with. But this particular person you're currently dealing with does something or says something that reminds you of one of those exes or one of those people that are now in your past, and you start distancing yourself or treating them differently because of what that other person did to you. And they have no tie or connection to any of that, but you do. Maybe you're in the situation where, and I'm going to say this, and I trust me when I tell you, I'm dealing with this myself. Maybe you're in a situation where you consistently attract the same type of person, and you still keep going through the same cycle of, in this particular case, unforgiveness. You attract who you are at that time. So in order for you to attract different, you've got to become different. So there's some things within you got to change. There's some stuff you got to fix. And I can assure you, the only way you're going to do that is if you got to get you a counselor, check your insurance, with your job or whatever the case may be, and see if you have insurance coverage for a counselor. Find somebody, and like what I've done, that you can, some people you can trust, that you can talk to, who are going to give you straight 100, no chaser, give you the 100% absolute truth, so that you can move forward. Because you have to let go of what's holding you back, or what these people have done. You got to let it go. They've moved on. So you got to ask yourself, like I had to ask me, why haven't you? I am Price McKinney. Simply put, follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, Grillmaster_PMac. Like, subscribe on my YouTube page. Simply put, I want to thank you again for listening. Whew, I made it, folks. See you soon.